Hello and welcome to Cranky Gamers UK, the best independent gaming podcast from the Isles of Great Britain. And it is I, your ever-loving host, Kid Dogg, along with the crankiest gamer in the UK, and a Derby fan to boot, but there's no Derby piss-taking today because they're not playing, so hello Toz.
Hello, how's everybody? Yeah, they're not playing today. I only found out this morning. It's FA Cup as well. That's on in the background. That's sprung up on me. But yeah, it's a bit of a different show this week, but here we go.
Yeah, a bit of a special show, but you'll find out about that later on. So we'll head on into the usual what we've been playing this week. So Toz, what have you been playing, or are you still lost in that bloody Odyssey of yours?
Quite simply, I've only played very little of Lost Odyssey for the simple reason I was lucky enough to get hold of Frontline Fields of War 2 days ago. I finished it. Now, some people might sit there and think, oh my god, he's had it a day and finished it. Well, I can tell you now, I sat on it from the simple reason being, I would put this, Fly doesn't agree with me, he's playing it at the same time, I would put it as enjoyable as experience that I had with Call of Duty 4 single player. It's a real, brilliant, immersive story. It's fantastic gameplay, I enjoyed it, I played it on normal. I didn't find it too difficult, which was a change. I like the concept where you're constantly having to move forward to points that are like you could call them trigger points, but trigger points for the game, not trigger points for the soldiers, because thank God there were no soldier trigger points in this, which was brilliant. You could bunker down, clear the people in front of you. Once there was dead, you moved on. There's vehicles, I think a lot of people will have played the demo, where there's vehicles, there's the fantastic little remote control helicopters, gun turrets, there's a lot more than there is in the demo. I just thoroughly enjoyed it from beginning to end. One thing I've only scratched the surface off, which I didn't care too much for, was the online play, and I'm just saying I didn't care for it because I didn't enjoy it, because for some unknown reason, it must be me. I think I'm coming to the conclusion. I just can't get on with it. I thoroughly enjoyed the game. Thought I'd enjoy online. Went online, made a couple of kills, took a few trigger points that you have to stand and take. Got a few points, got a few percent, and I don't know. It just didn't feel the same. One thing is worth noting, though, if people didn't know, that one of the maps, and only one of the maps for now, and they plan on changing it. THQ said they're going to change that, but one of the maps, believe it or not, has a 50-person multiplayer.
Is there 50 people in it, though?
This is the point. I've got a feeling there will be. I haven't tried the 50-person one. I'm going to, just to purely see what it's like to have 50 people. I will say the few rooms I have played in, there hasn't been that many in. I think the most people there's been in has been about 12, 14. But the numbers that you can have in the multiplayer is really, really good. And again, it's a different kind of format, the main backbone of the game. It's you're taking land. You've got glowing, it's red against blue. Say if I'm on blue team, you can see red glowing circles being marked on your map. You basically got to go to that, stand on it for a few seconds, it then changes to blue. Very similar to capture the flag. But that's like the basics of the game, because once you capture the red point, your blue area on the map moves up. And it's just a point of taking the most map space. You get
so it's territory
points.
then? Just take territory?
It is, yeah. It is. You're taking territory, moving forward, then obviously they move it back. What I will say, the use of vehicles in it is really, really well done. You can even get in a helicopter gunship and go up and fire the crap out of people on floor. Hasten to say the weapon of choice on the floor when there's helicopters is your rocket launcher. That locks on, and it's good. The whole package, cannot fault it at all. It's all I've been playing, but I will be moving on to a couple of more new games this week that I'll save for later. But yeah, that's basically it. 'Cause as I say, I've played it, finished it already, but I highly recommend it.
I'm sure I saw you playing some co-op Crackdown with Fly not long ago as well.
Sorry, I did, yeah. We've been trying to get Crackdown. I mentioned on the Wednesday show. I've changed my opinion on this. Everybody's heard me before in the past on Crackdown, really slagging it off. I think it was one of the first games I ever got, and I think that was the reason. I just didn't get on with it. I won't say it's fantastic. I won't say it's brilliant.
But it's
I'll
fun.
say Yeah, spot on. It's fun. I like the orbs. I'm way behind flyers at playing co-op. What I do like, and I will give it a big thumbs up, obviously, I don't know if you know this, I mean, some people will, obviously, I'm way behind on this, obviously I am, but Fly hasn't killed the last boss. Now, the reason being, apparently, and I'm glad he's told me this, that if you kill the last boss, you can't go back and get some of the achievements, because it closes the game down in some way.
It does, because you won't be able to get any, like, the gang-related achievements,
That's
but
it.
there is an option to resurrect the gangs.
He did mention that also. So at the minute, what I really did like, he joins my game, and I've only killed one island. We can actually go on and play together as a co-op, and it completes my single-player game.
Yep, it does.
Which is awesome. I really do like that. I wish, actually, a lot more games would do it.
Its co-op is fantastic. We'll tell listeners how you got dragged down in a minute if you haven't already, but me and Philonzo went through and did the co-op. Complete co-op in under. There's an achievement for completing co-op, and that was me and Philonzo. We did that, and it was absolutely brilliant. Had a lot of fun playing with Philonzo on co-op mode, because he did have a nasty habit, because he had the downloadable content of harpooning me to the ceiling. The git.
Yeah, we must admit we can't help ourselves.
You can't,
there's been many a moment we're playing serious, we're killing street gangs and stuff, and then all of a sudden, you just see Fly stood on the edge of a building and just kick him off, and we stand laughing and have a right good laugh at it. But one thing I will say, he helped me get an achievement, because I've actually broke today, last night in fact, 13,000. So, and the way I got to it was I don't know if you know the achievement with the car off the building.
Yeah.
He took me to a building where you have to put it in a lift.
Yeah,
which I might actually use it for the achievement of the week that we're doing midweek. It's quite entertaining. It's an old one. It's different. But we went up, and you get an achievement for the height, apparently, for being in a car. But then he told me to go off the edge of the building and push forward and do a roll. Well, I did that, but strangely enough, I didn't make a double somersault, which was required for the achievement.
The easiest card to do that in is if someone's got the DLC, is use the beach buggy thing.
He'd got the DLC, but obviously I can't do it.
Yeah, you can. If he's got the DLC, you can access it if you're playing with him in co-op.
Oh, I was about to bring that up as well. You can do the in-game content that he's got. I don't know about the cars, because when I went to the garage...
you can use the cars, because that's how I got it, because I used the beach buggy when I was playing with Philonzo.
Right. Well, Fly told me the best one to use was the lorry thing that he'd got. Apparently it's an actual stunt vehicle, so...
I used the beach buggy.
But yeah, anyway, I mean, I got the height achievement, and I know how to get the other one, but it's been entertaining. I've changed my opinion of it.
Body juggling's fun as well.
Fun. Not done that.
That's a fun one.
I'll tell you what I did fluke last night that got me some more points. I fluked the achievement where you keep a car up in the air for 6 seconds.
Oh, I've not managed that one.
Now, I'll tell you how I fluked it, and this is really weird. The car I was in to do the jump off the building landed on the floor, and when it landed on the floor, it was smoking, close to damage. So I've then got 2 gangs and a police car all draw in and crash into me, so I'm locked in a 5 vehicle pile-up, but my vehicle's smoking. So I got out, ran back, and threw a grenade into the middle. Now, obviously, the grenade blew the 4 and 5 cars up, but because mine was near death, it did a double explosion, and my car went flying right up in the air and unlocked the achievement, which I thought was quite fun.
But yeah, knock it if it works.
No, I enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, and we probably will go back, and we are probably going to try some Halo co-op as well. So, yeah, no. Want Legendary and want the skulls, apparently, so...
Bugger that.
I'll have to go and show him how it's done.
Now, there's what you don't hear often, folks. Toz saying, I'm going to show you how it's done.
Yeah, true. Manchester United goalkeeper's just been sent off.
What? Man U goalkeeper sent off?
I think he's given a penalty away with 15 minutes to go in the FA Cup quarter-final, and it looks like he's going out. And I don't think they've got a goalie on the bench either.
Oh, that should be fun. Can you tell that the match is on while we're recording this, folks?
Yeah, go on, let's get on. We've got to get on.
What have I been playing this week? I've not been playing much on the 360. I did actually put in Tiger Woods 07 and finally beat Tiger. Woohoo! Yeah! 85 gamer score. That's it. That's all I played on my 360 this week. I have been playing on my PC a bit more. Gone back to my good old real-time strategies, so lots of time being sucked out of me there. Caesar 3, Sins of the Solar Empire, SimCity 4.
Yeah, I've just not got the patience for them. Not at all.
These games should come with a health warning saying, warning, seriously sucks time out of you.
Yeah, they should. I've always went in the past when there was on the PC. I got them, and I put them in, and they was as exciting as the next one. And I just played them for about half an hour, and then couldn't carry on. But I see the appeal.
They are the kind of games where you either love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
It's just one of those types of stuff. You either love them or you hate them. But hey, I enjoy them, and I can lose many hours. Things I once played like Civilization 3 for like 16 odd hours straight.
Wow, crazy.
Says the guy that finished Frontline's Fuel of War in 2 days.
True, but it just sucked me in. That game did. Absolutely awesome. I did not. There was a session. I think the second session I did was 10 hours solid. Never, and when I mean solid, I mean I never moved from the chair, but I didn't realise it. I know that's not healthy, and I don't recommend it. But I really, if you haven't got it, guys, or thinking about it, I know it's not got many decent reviews. I've seen a couple of reviews where I think it was GameTrailers.com gave it a 7. I think that's what they gave it, and that quite surprised me. I mean, some people say 7's an above average game. Well,
you see, the trouble is, it's a first-person shooter, and on the 360, the market is absolutely saturated with FPSs.
Do you know what? I was going to say that as well, because even me, who's been enjoying them lately. I mean, there's the blanket coverage of Army of Two. I don't know if you've seen the coverage. I was mentioning it last night that we picked a newspaper up for the first time. We don't buy newspapers. I think the Tribe, the kind of rubbish to come out with. I think my wife bought it, and you just pick it up. I think in the newspaper yesterday there was 2 complete full-page adverts for Army of Two, which I've never seen before in a paper. I've seen adverts on the TV only in comparison to Halo 3. Now, I was mentioning it last night to Fly, and I said, this worries me. Why would Army of Two be getting this much blanket press coverage?
Because
it's a strange one. Well, as we know, it was delayed for a reason. It was delayed because the AI of the game is paramount to the way the mechanics of the game work. People who don't know, 2-player co-op, either online or single player, and they pulled it last year for the single player because apparently it's all about aggro. One takes aggro off the enemy while the other one sneaks around and completes the mission. But apparently before Christmas it was really, really bad. And the rumours are that it's still not up to much, and I think that's why we're getting the coverage.
Well, I'm not bothered about Frontlines, I'm not bothered about Army of Two. Do you know why? Because do you know what game comes out on the 20th of this month?
I know, and I'm not bothered about that much either, but go on, I know what you're going to say.
Rainbow Six Vegas 2.
I will tell you now, I don't think you'll do it, because I did. I looked at it last night. There is a 10-minute preview on GameSpot from start of the game. People know how GameSpot sometimes do it. They did it with the Wii, I think, for an hour. I think they did it with Zelda, where they literally sit down and record actual physical gameplay, and they've done it for Rainbow Six 2. 10 minutes if you want to go and watch it. The only thing I can say, whether it was my video settings, which I don't think it was bloody dark.
Don't care.
I'm going to check it out.
You didn't really get on with Rainbow Six Vegas, did you? So
I didn't, mate. No, I thought it was different.
I won't lie. It is a very hard and sometimes very frustrating game.
But I told you why. I told you why. The simple. I would have probably finished that game for one reason. The save game in it was appalling.
Well, I don't care. I'm getting Rainbow Six Vegas 2. I have got my little supply of change all ready for it. I'm getting. I
just hope they fixed the save problem. There is better points. There's got to be, because it will ruin that again.
Hey,
but anyway.
And listeners, if you're not a member of our forums, post up who's getting it, and we'll have some 4-player co-op fun.
I think most people will be getting it. I'll probably get it. I'll try and get it anyway, because I think, like you say, if you don't get it, like Rainbow Six at the time, you'll be left out.
It'd be interesting to see how Rainbow Six Vegas 2, the online compares against something like Call of Duty 4, which is uber popular.
Do you know what? I honestly can't see them messing with the online version at all, because as we know, one thing that was a plus for Rainbow Six Vegas was its online. It was well done. There was very few things wrong with it. And as the old adage says, don't fix something that ain't broken.
Work for AC/DC.
Yeah, like I say, I wouldn't mess with it, or I'd add to it.
I think they've added to it. We shall see when I get my hands on it. Oh, I can't wait.
Well, we'll see. Interesting.
All right, let's move on into the UK top 10 then. Okay, folks, in at number 10 we have Devil May Cry 4.
Big drop from
What
number
a drop!
3.
3 last week to 10.
Still waiting for this. I've actually trying to get one of my swaps up for it. Won't mind trying it, as I've said. So it's dropping down. It probably become available a bit more. So yeah.
Now Dick keeps threatening to hit me with stuff every time I try and borrow it. So not even close yet, because he's now finished it and he wants to do it on hard mode. So.
Well, apparently the achievements. That's where the achievements are. The achievements don't unlock until you unlock some secret mode, isn't it? What I've heard, which is a bit crazy.
Different. Also, I highly recommend the 0 punctuation review on Devil May Cry 4.
Was good. Was good.
We love that guy. Alright, at number 9, Unreal Tournament 3.
Dan 3 from number 6 last week. I think we've spoken about this. Fly doesn't like it, hates it. You can't wait to play it, I think you said, or you're interested?
I'm looking forward to playing it. It's just, I wish my PC was powerful enough to run it, because I'd have it on a PC instead of the 360, but...
Yeah.
So... Oh. At number 8, they're back again, The Sims 2, free time.
Yeah, I have no idea what to say about it. I think there's nothing you can say about it. It's Sims, end of story.
The ultimate cash cow. Forget your Halos, well, maybe not Spore, but Sims is cash cow.
Can't blame them, can you? Can you? I mean, you can't. Simply, you can't blame them. If people are going to keep buying them, you're going to keep selling them. End of story.
Hey, I'll be honest. I even have The Sims 2 and the 2 expansion packs as well. I can't tell you why I like it. I just do.
Oh, the only one I've played is the one on the DS, and I couldn't even tell you the title. There's that many, but I played the recent one. I think it was My Sims. You're right. You're spot on. I bought it my daughter for Christmas, and yeah, I must admit, I played it an hour or two. It was enjoyable, but yeah.
It's one of those games I can't tell you why I like it, but I do play it.
And that's what matters.
And here's a shocking climb. Last week's number 17 to number 7, 10 places. Pro Evo 2008.
Yeah. Crazy. I have no idea why this has come from 17 to 7, but it's got to be either a sale or downloadable content. Not checked. But usually when you see a jump like this from an old game, which it was an old game, it's oldish, where it's got to be a sale or something's on offer somewhere.
Yes, an amazing comeback. 10 places.
10 places for this, like I say, for this long.
Which a lot of people were saying, it's not that great. It was the EA mode of a slight improvement over the last one. So,
just caught a little story this week actually about Pro Evo. There's a world tournament going off with a lot of money at stake, which quite shocked me when I heard it was £50,000 for the winners. It's been going on for months around the world, and apparently the world finals were getting close last week. And Konami and the organisers, and I thought it might have been Play, I'm not sure, but Konami and the organisers basically kicked one of the top players out for cheating.
Ooh.
They didn't release any names. They literally made a statement. One of the top 4 players, apparently, who was tipped to win the £50,000 had been caught cheating. Didn't tell you how or why or what or names. Just basically said he's gone, he's out, and the reason is cheating, which is an interesting story. It's interesting that he got that far.
Yeah. Took a while to catch him cheating, but...
yeah, I suppose you've got to prove it, haven't you?
Well, yeah. That's sometimes the harder bit.
Yeah.
Alright, and obviously Pro Evo's sudden climb back up the charts has scared the hell out of FIFA 3, which is now at number 6. Up 2 places.
I will also say, every review I've heard about this is unbelievable. G4's video review of this made me laugh because it was reviewed from an American point of view. If you haven't checked it out, guys, go and check G4's review of FIFA Street 3. It's quite a listening to be heard. It's unbelievable. Just on the FIFA thing, no, it's one of our forum members actually sent me FIFA 08 this week to try. I've only had it on for 5 minutes last night. As everybody knows, I'm a massive football fan, but computer games, nope. And first impressions, bottom line, what can I say? As a football fan, you cannot help be impressed with the presentation. I picked Derby County, picked a one-off match. It instantly, and this is a really good plus point, instantly put me with Nottingham Forest. Now, I'm guessing that is not a fluke, obviously, because what even impressed me more, the commentary was by Martin Tyler and Andy Gray. Both of them was actually commenting on the history of Derby County, the history of Forest, how it's a local derby, how they would like to see them both back in the Premiership again. it was really well put together. Now, as for control, I actually, for the first time in a long time, got an instruction book out. Because on the instruction book it actually says, tips guide for ball control. Now, the best way I can describe it, you'll probably understand this, your football games of old, the old FIFAs, the originals, when you played them, the ball came to your feet, it literally stuck to your feet like it was glue, and you went running off, and you either got three choices: pass, hoof, or shoot. Now, FIFA's really moved on, so much so that you have got complete ball control with the right stick, which means you have to make a decision when the ball's coming to you, what to do with the stick, when you've got the ball, what to do with the right stick, and all I can say at the minute, there is a lot to take in. If you master it, I'm guessing it will be awesome, but I'll give it a go because somebody's offered me a match, a Leeds United Derby County match off the forum, so yeah, it'll be worth it. But it's impressive.
No. What was the score?
Oh, in Derby Forest, 0-0, mate. To be honest, Forest should have won because you've played them yourself, and when you first start, you just do not get a kick. I think I had one shot from about 40 yards, and that's because I pressed the wrong button.
Oh, so it's like a proper derby game then?
Yeah, I knew that were coming, so I could have lied and said I won 3-0, but no, it was first game. It was a shame. It was off-putting. You know, I know they do say it's if you master it, I'm guessing that people can play this and have one of the times of their life. And I think if I put time in, I probably would come out the other side saying, "Wow, this is awesome." I want to put the time in because I really want to try the online 5-on-5. Because I think that will be really impressive, and I've heard it is. And I've heard probably that's why it's staying in the charts so well. But yeah, it's impressive to look at.
Come on, listeners, get a thorn thread going for old Toz here. Get him his 5-on-5 game.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'd like to
bear in mind you may have to play as Derby County.
Well, I'm not bothered who I play. I mean, all I'm saying is that I'd like some tips on how to do it because it's hard. Put it that way.
Okay, then let's move on to number 5. And I'm surprised it only made it to number 5. Lost Odyssey.
Yep, I am surprised. But, I mean, if we're being honest, Lost Odyssey for a pure Japanese RPG has got to be a good thing for them at number 5.
Talk to me again when Final Fantasy comes out and it'll be number 1.
What I will say, on a back end of this story, I mean, it's slightly connected. Japanese chart for the first time this week was actually given a 360 title in the top 10.
Bloody hell.
And I'll tell you why I caught the story, because I actually saved it as well. And the charts here, and what it was, you won't recognise the title. Immediately when I read the story, I thought, same as everybody, Lost Odyssey. Well, believe it or not, the story was broke because it was the first time that Brawl got knocked off the top spot. Now, when I tell you what knocked it off the top spot, you will not believe. And the game that knocked Smash Brothers off the top in Japan this week was Gundam Musu Special on the PS2.
Good old Gundam.
And the Xbox title, I don't know if you've heard on it, it came in at number 5 in the Japanese charts, and it's called Idolmaster Live For You.
I have. I've seen that on the Play Asia things, and I always look at it going, what
well, that, on the one hand, it's good that 360's in the charts in Japan. 2, I really thought Lost Odyssey would be there. But it's a strange one. But thought that'd be interesting. But yeah, Lost Odyssey is fantastic. Everybody knows what I've said about it.
I'm just laughing that Brawl's been beaten up by a giant robot. Go Gundam!
Yes, it's out very shortly over here in the US, isn't it? So we will no doubt get that rammed down our throats, and I'll be interested to see how it goes.
Oh yes, all I can say, I'm going to make a very in-joke, and only people who watch Gundam are going to get this. As Hiro Yui would say, mission accomplished. Alright, that was the in-joke done, and we'll move on to number 4, because no one's laughing, really. Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Still there, it's only gone down 2 spaces. I don't think this will leave the top 10 for months, I really don't.
Nah, it's not going anywhere. It's got its comfy sofa out, he's there for a while, it's got its feet up, it's got its cup of tea. And no one laughed at that one either. My jokes are going well. Fine, we'll move on to number 3, Frontline's Fuel of War.
Just said it. Well worth picking up, guys. An awesome game. Well worth playing. People might say it's a bit short on the single player, but you've got that massive online to do. with the 50-player and more 50-player maps arriving apparently. So yeah, it's well worth picking up.
Like I said, it's going to be interesting to see if you can get 50 people into those maps, and if there's lag issues or anything.
Well, thinking of the, I don't know if you've actually played them. I'd recommend going and trying the multiplayer demo, because there's a lot of people playing that, or there was last week. Now, whether looking at where this has come into the charts, I'm guessing that one or two will have bought it. So I'm guessing they'll have moved on to the full game. But it's well worth trying. You'd enjoy it, I think, if you're a multiplayer fan.
Okay, number 2. This one's where it gets interesting. I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to sit back and get comfortable because I know how Toz likes to rant about this particular show. Number 2, Lost, the video game.
Does not surprise me in the least this has come here, but for the simple reason, first off, it's blanket coverage. There's nothing this isn't on. If you look here, I think it'll be on your microwave, because there is on everything. What I will say though, looking at the videos, looking at the reviews, it's very, very interesting to look at. A lot of people have said, a lot of Lost fans have picked it up, hoping to grab some storylines. Well, yeah, apparently it's got nothing to do with the show whatsoever in a direct way. It's indirectly, with it. It's you crashed on the island, you play a person that's not in the show, and you're doing different things. What I will say for anybody who's not interested yet, it's a very easy achievement guide. I think I've heard that you can in 5 hours get all 1,000 achievements, so that might sell a few more people, but I don't think it looks that bad. I think it looks okay.
I still like the story you told me about the Lost Writers, where it says their remit is basically make stuff up.
Yeah, I heard a podcast where one of the old writers for it, they was actually given instructions, I think around Series 2, Series 3, when we all know it went absolutely lunatic, because I will stand here and say that the first series was probably one of the most entertaining series that you've ever seen. And to me, it's just gone unbelievable. Well, they was given the rules. Don't worry, make stuff up. It'll work well. It's crazy.
You think if any show could tie in a video game into its canon lore, would be Lost. It's the only show that could get away with it.
Well, they could. They could probably put some real good stuff in it. But who knows? There's not going to be another one. If it's selling this well, and I've got a gripe with things like this, and I will say, and I've just said it looks quite an entertaining game, and I'm probably guessing that if you played it, you would have a decent time on it. What I will say, I hate to see blanket coverage of games like this.
Well, they're the only games that get it, aren't they? Because they're big money things.
Yeah, movie tie-in, movie program tie-ins, it's just crazy. I mean, and it is on the mobile. I mean, mobile games, don't even get me started on that one.
You're low. No. Let's not
it's ridiculous. But it's everywhere. And I say I don't like it. I don't know, something about it.
Lost. If any of our listeners have actually bought Lost, 1, be thoroughly ashamed of yourself, and 2, post up and let us know what it's like.
Well, I think you'll be surprised a lot of people might like it.
Just as a side,
just as a side note, Manchester United have just been knocked out of the FA Cup.
Oh, wow.
Yep, crazy.
Interesting. All right, and of course, number 1. We told you this game is good. We told you so. You know who we're They know who we're talking to. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games.
Yep, I said it months ago, and I knew it was good as soon as I saw it. And this position speaks for itself. And when you think about this as well, you put it against what it's against at the minute, and it's not rubbish it's against some big sellers. Call of Duty, Lost Odyssey, Lost, a big movie tie-in, Frontline's a new one.
Devil May Cry, Unreal.
Devil May Cry's been there.
Even
Unreal's
The Sims.
There. Yeah. Next week will be good, because I think this, with the blanket press, that this, what's it one I've just been on about?
Army of Two,
I think that'll be another test, but it's banging in there, it's brilliant. I do think it helps it's on 2 systems with a gap.
2 hugely popular systems at the minute as well.
Yeah, and both versions are just as good as each other.
I should imagine the DS version's a little bit safer for me, considering the amount of times I whack myself in the face playing this game.
The DS game, I tell you now, is so impressive to say it is on the DS, and we mentioned a few weeks ago that it's the DS is picking up no end. The Call of Duty game on it is a sight to behold.
Yeah, I did play that when I came to see you, and it was very impressive.
Stunning, absolutely stunning.
I'll tell you what, Toz, do you mind if we do a little bit of segue, seeing as we're talking about DS? Because I've heard of a new game coming to the PC, the PS2, and the DS by Eidos. Or Eidos. You know, those famed for the Kane and Lynch debacle.
Yeah.
How would you like a video game based on a long-running BBC series?
Oh, which one?
None other than Doctor Who.
Oh, no.
There's going to be a Doctor Who video game by Eidos coming out for the PC, the PS2 and the DS.
The only thing I can say about that is I'm surprised there's never been one.
They have... The last one was, if mine might told me correct, I think was back on the Amiga, and it was Dalek Attack.
Yeah, I was going to say, should rephrase that, a more up-to-date bit. I'm amazed with the popularity. People know my thoughts. I just don't think I'm just not interested in it one bit. That's my personal opinion. I'm amazed it's never ever been to a console yet.
No.
Because if anything, it's a money spinner. It's one of these kind of lost things. They could churn this out on everything.
Surprising. Well, they could if it was EA, but unfortunately it's Eidos, so it's a PC, PS2, and DS. So
on the DS thing as well, the rumor I read last night, and it is a rumor, but I think it's a good one. We all remember the Guitar Hero patenting the name Guitar Hero on the road.
Yeah.
Well, the Australian Classification Board let slip this week that Activision have registered the name for a DS game.
Ooh.
So it's looking like, guys, that in development, or rumours, as I say, is that Guitar Hero on the Road is going to be a DS game.
I actually would play that. I've got my DS, and that would be fun.
As I say, if anybody who's not tried it, one of the greatest games on the DS, and I have played both, finished both, awesome, is Elite Beat Agents, both the American version and the Japanese version. Believe it or not, the Japanese version is better. Because you haven't got all the poppy kind of, songs that's just been put on there.
The Toz Fly song, Guitar Hero.
Yeah, I do actually. But I think it'll work. It's easy to. I mean, it's really easy to convert onto the DS gameplay-wise. It's just your stylus and you hit the buttons with the stylus. If anything, it'll be easier.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, it probably would be easier.
Yeah. So be interesting to keep an eye out. One thing I think I definitely would buy it. But on just final point on the Guitar Hero before we move on, everybody's heard of the new packs out this week. We mentioned it on Wednesday, but for anybody who doesn't know, the new packs out this week again, which is 2 in 2 weeks.
Ooh, go steady, Activision, go steady. You might give yourself a nosebleed.
Gets better. Even a soft show. It's a soft metal pack, I think it's called. It's not very good, I don't think. It's not good enough that I've not even bought it yet. I've been close, not bothering. The reason I'm not bothering? St. Patrick's Day next week, they're giving another 3-pack by a country punky band. Believe it or not, that's going to be free.
Ooh. I was hoping for House Pain Jump Around then. There's no guitar in it, but hey, could have been fun.
We're going to have 3 packs in 3 weeks, and one of them is actually free. And it's a 3-pack.
What's in this soft metal pack then?
Do you know what? I couldn't even tell you, mate. It's on. I think it's in our posts on the midweek show. We talked about it. It's reasonably readily available. It's been out since Tuesday, I think. Not my thing. I'm just not into it. As I say, I'm normally buying it just for pure gameplay. Because Fly
says
keeps
the guy that
ramming
bought
down
the No Doubt pack.
Which I've got to say I enjoy, and I think it's a great pack. But again,
well, then again, I can't really take the mix so much because I actually played one of them. So.
Well, this is it. Like I say, and I even went and posted on the Guitar Hero forum the day that was released, that pack. As you know, I have a bit of a rant every now and again, and I've gone on to GuitarHero.com when the pack's released just to see what people are saying. One of the biggest posts on is a big post, can't even remember the name of the guy, sat there and did nothing but moan and bitch about this thing, saying, why they bringing No Doubt out? It's an absolute pile of rubbish. And I just put my pen down, got my keyboard out, and basically said, why don't you engage your brain before you get going? Music is a format that can never please everybody in the world. What would you want? Do you want Activision to get the songs just you like? I says, what you do with Guitar Hero, you have the packs, you have the choice to buy them, and you either buy them to play the game, what I do. I don't mind what the songs are, I don't mind what the bands are. What I do mind is I want more songs to play the game, because I enjoy it. Now, I just can't understand people coming on a forum and really laying into Activision for bringing packs out. One, that he doesn't have to buy it anyway, and 2, it's more new content, and they could bring Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall out for me. But, again, I had some people just make me crazy.
And for the aid of our listeners, who are you and where is the real Toz?
I know.
This is the guy that did not like Guitar Hero 2 packs.
I know, I've got to say, don't get me wrong, I mean, let's be right, this is 3 in 3 weeks, and I am hanging on, and I'm waiting with bated breath, and I've mentioned this in midweek. Let's hope that this is finally them getting the fingers out and saying, look, Rock Band are making $3 million since November on purely downloadable tracks that they're bringing out weekly. Now, if they're too stupid enough and naive enough to sit there and hope that they're going to make money on just extra discs, I just don't know where they're coming from. And like I say, let's hope that this is the start of them, even if it's a 3-pack a week. You know, it's just common sense.
No,
Crazy.
I agree. Maybe if they'd lowered the prices down a little bit, it'd help as well, which they said they're not going to do.
No, I know. Well, you know, the reason they're not going to is because they're making so much money on them.
Let's see if they're still making that much money on them when Rock Band hits Europe, finally.
They won't. No way. That's going to be the big turning point. We know that.
Yep. All right, folks, we have, strangely seeing as we were trying to do a bit of a short one here, for obvious reasons, we're about to find out. It's not being so short, but hey, what the hell. All right, Toz, why don't you tell us why we're having a short show then?
Yeah, this is it, guys. We're not having any more content. Might have a bit of a chat after it, but as you all know, you've been waiting. I, last Saturday, did a brilliant interview with the Xbox Community Manager for Europe, or EMEA, I think he calls it, which you'll hear in the show. But yeah, we've now got the interview with Acey Bongos. It lasts, I think, 55 minutes. Really interesting. Bit of a bad start for me, but a bit of a comedy one. I think kids heard it. It's a bit funny, but I think you'll enjoy it, guys. So, yeah. Here it is, the interview with Acey Bongos. Hope you enjoy it. Hi, everybody. It's Toz here on Cranky Gamers UK with, I think we can call it, a bit of a coup. We've got an absolutely superb interview. Can't thank him enough. And I'd like to introduce Acey Bongos. How you going, mate?
I'm going fine, mate. Did you just call me a coup?
Yes, a coup. I don't know if it's a Scottish word.
Scottish for cow, that.
Is it? Oh, well, that's a bad start then. But yeah, a coup means a coup, to grab a brilliant interview or as such. But yeah.
I know, mate, I'm only joking. Cool.
Yeah. It's a great interview, and I can't thank you enough for this. Little us on the podcast scene, really appreciate it.
Not at all. Thank you. Thanks for asking me on. And I know we've been trying to get it organised for a while, so apologies for keeping you waiting. And no, appreciate it, mate.
No
pleasure,
mate. Wait as long as we want for this one. It's going to be a pretty good one. Just to say to our listeners what we're planning on doing, we're just going to do a basic forum question and answer. Going to break it down into personal questions first, and then on to Xbox questions and general questions, which maybe you might not be able to answer, you've said, so that's not a problem, as we've said before. But
I'll do my best.
Yeah, I think we'll do. You've obviously got
Hope the questions aren't too personal, are they?
No, not that personal, but we'll see. But the first thing we can do is basically just introduce yourself and what you do.
Totally. Okay, so my name's Graham Boyd. My gamer tag is Acey Bongos, which I think probably more people have heard of than Graham Boyd. Yeah. So my job title in Xbox is Community Manager for EMEA, which stands for Europe, Middle East and Africa. So I work on the EMEA team. We're based in the UK, but we kind of do work with about 22 different countries now across Europe and the Middle East and Africa. And of course, we've got teams in all those different countries, so it's a really nice big team, and we get a lot of supports from the country themselves.
It's a bigger job than I think a lot of people first realise. I think people have got it into their heads that it's just UK, but that sounds a pretty big job.
Well, you know, I think people assume a lot of the time that I'm kind of the UK community manager. I mean, and certainly, like, you know, aceybongos.com, the blog, and that is obviously all in English. Yeah. But yeah, we do have we do work across Europe and those other continents as well. So it's a little bit bigger. So my sort of general my job title is community manager. Yeah. So what that really entails is within the Xbox EMEA team, it's my job to kind of represent the Xbox community So whenever we're doing work on new projects or new things are happening, it's my job to think about how the community will react to that, think about how we can get the community more involved, how we can communicate these things to the community and take feedback from the community. And also the bit I really enjoy about it is working directly with the community as well. So
Yeah. I mean,
we have
I was going to say we can actually kick off, because looking at the first questions from the forum, guys, as you're going into detail, I think I can just first start off. Questions from the forum will kick off with, from Mideon and Interceptor actually as their first questions. Thanks, guys, for that. Is what does your job entail, and what exactly is a day in the life of Acey Bongos? So you can
day in the life of Acey Bongos. Oh my
fame
goodness!
and fortune.
I wish. No, it's so yeah. So, as I say, it's my job to represent the community. The really cool bit about it is working directly with the community. So the blog is a little bit of that. I try and post on there as much as possible, and get feedback and get people involved as much as I can. We also have another thing that we call the Xbox Community Network. That's great fun to work with, and that's it's a network of community-run sites across EMEA again. And we try and we speak to the guys a lot. We get them interviews with developers and so on and so forth. We have events. We get people involved with big events, like if we're having an XO event, for instance. We'll try and get people along to that. So that's kind of the nice part, which is real sort of face-to-face interaction with. So
you do get out a lot then. You're not sat in an office 9 to 5. You do actually do a lot of travelling.
I try to get out as much as I can, and to be honest, it's actually it's getting to the stage now where I'm looking to be out of the office a wee bit more and actually face to face with people, rather than sitting in the office. So that's kind of exciting, That's the really nice part of it. And at the end of the day, that's what community is all about, right?
Yeah.
It's about speaking to people and being part of that. So that's what we're really keen to do. A day in the life of Acey Bongos probably isn't as exciting as as you might expect or might not expect. Right, what's the best way to put this? So I get into the office about, I guess, 9:30 in the morning. At Xbox and at Microsoft in general, I think we have a lot of meetings because there's so much going on all the time.
Where is the UK office based?
It's in Reading.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I live in London and I commute out. So depending on what the motorway traffic's like in the morning, I get in about 9:30.
Right.
So we have a lot of meetings during the day. So it's and a lot of times it's a case of trying to fit everything else in around the meetings. The meetings are brilliant because you're hearing about all the cool things that are coming up, and that's always the exciting bits to work on.
Yeah.
But in terms of my working day, it's checking the emails, it's posting on the blog, it's speaking to our third party and first party games teams to figure out opportunities for Q&As and how we can get the community involved with upcoming games. It's planning out events for our community and kind of coverage opportunities that we can put together. So we're working on some really exciting things just now that I can't actually talk about, but I'd love to.
Yeah, no, we see all that in the interviews. Secrecy. That's
always
the game, I suppose. Yeah. So sounds interesting day. So we'll move on to the next question then. Oh yeah, there's got to be lunch. Got to eat, definitely. What time do you usually get finished then on a normal day, or is it pretty flexible?
It's a bit weird just now because I'm doing a night class as well,
right.
a couple of days a week. So, but usually it's about 6, 6:30, and then home, and then back online, and just keeping an eye on things and trying to fit in a bit of gaming and whatever else around that as well. So.
All right. So, next question then is from Benjo321 and Mr. Gav. Asked the same question really. What did you do before becoming community manager, and how did you go about getting the job at Microsoft?
Yeah, so I've been in the games industry about almost 5 years now, I think.
Yeah.
If my maths holds up. So I started off as a staff writer on a magazine, Computer and Video Games magazine, which actually got closed down about a year after I started on it. I don't think it was anything to do with me, but yeah. So that was my first job, which was amazing. It was just a brilliant introduction to the games industry, and obviously writing on a magazine was just the best ever. And then went from there on to cvg.co.uk. Right. Which is still going strong, so obviously, I was all right on there. I was the news editor on there for about a year, and then moved over to Official Xbox magazine in the UK when the Xbox 360 was just about to launch. So I was the online editor of oxm.co.uk, which again is still doing really well, and Ryan King is the online editor there and is doing a great job. And it was kind of, it was through that I was obviously speaking to people from Xbox a lot. The opportunity came up, and I was kind of delighted to try something new, and also try and be a bigger part of the Xbox community and really get more involved with that as well. So
I bet it was pretty exciting, because I think everybody sees Microsoft as the golden job, don't they, in the industry? So I don't know whether it is that, but it sounds pretty good.
Well, I mean, it's cool to be part of the.
I'm going to say
team.
It's probably a nice tag to have, saying you work for Microsoft. So
yeah.
But anyway,
well, what I would say is that we say we work for Xbox.
Oh right, you don't say Microsoft then, you say Xbox.
It's fine to say we work for Microsoft, but we really feel that we're the Xbox team, and it's it's a little bit different. Our office is all about Xbox rather than we try to be very kind of keep a very Xbox identity about it. So that's the cool part. Saying I work for Xbox is the exciting part.
Pretty cool. So next question then is from Manilink. And the question is, why the name Acey Bongos, and do you own a Wii?
Which one does he want first?
Why the name Acey Bongos?
So, do you know what? It's not. I wish it was a more entertaining story, right? But it's actually, I'm from Aberdeen in Scotland, and I had a mate in Aberdeen. I still have a mate in Aberdeen called Haydn Cooper, and he was one of my best pals when we were at school. And it was just something he used to say. It was like, if he thought something was good or ace. Because we used to say ace a lot. If he thought it was better than that, he would say it was Acey Bongos. And I just thought it was such a cool word, and it kind of stuck. I remember I was signing up for my Xbox Live account years and years ago, before I was working at Xbox or anything. And I was really struggling to think of something, and the one I really wanted was bacon crisps, but I couldn't get that because bacon crisps are amazing. So, I tried that, couldn't get it, and had a few things. And that kind of came into my head, because it's just a bit different, right? It sounds a bit unusual.
Gamer tags are a funny thing. I mean, I don't think anybody ever gets the first choice, or they're very fortunate if they do. But like you say, the stories of everybody's gamer tag is never as entertaining as it first looks.
That's true.
But yours very entertaining.
Oh, that's good then.
The next question, do you own a Wii? Which is a very good question, I think.
I don't. I don't at the moment. I pre-ordered one, and I got one at launch. I was really lucky. And then, I loved it to start with. I was really into it. I remember getting it and being really excited about it, playing Wii Sport and thinking it was great. And that was just before Christmas. So took it up to Scotland over Christmas and played it with, my girlfriend's family. Yeah. And, we had a great time. It was brilliant. And then, I got back down here after Christmas and all the parties were over and stuff. And, it wasn't for me in the long run.
Identical to my story. I pre-ordered, lucky to get one. Being a real avid gamer for 20 plus years, loved it to death. I've got a young daughter who, to be honest, played with her every day. It was great fun, like you say. Yeah. But then the reality set in after Christmas, and I sat there thinking, well, there's not a lot for this. And to be honest, I do really have a go at the Nintendo Wii, but mainly because its availability is really poor. I would like one again for my daughter, but and we still haven't got one. We still haven't got a PS3 or a Wii, purely on availability and cost. But I think you're right. They are a good machine, probably for Christmas and family. Yeah.
Do you know? I think for the right person, it's a brilliant machine. I really admire what Nintendo have done, and the freshness and the ideas and the way they change things up and do something unique. For me as a gamer, it's just not for me. Do you know what I mean? I want to play Pro Evo and Call of Duty.
Would you be on the same lines as me as thinking that they're planning on getting a really, an extra powerful Wii 2 out? Because I've got a feeling they're going too soon.
Do you know what? I'm not sure. I haven't really thought about it an awful lot. I think what Nintendo does really well is that they put a piece of hardware out there that's affordable and everyone can get a hold of if it's in the shops at the time.
Yes.
And it has its own hook, I don't think they really need to power it up particularly at the moment, because people get it instantly, and they don't need to be told that it's got extra power or amazing HD graphics or anything like that.
I think what they've done, they've done what I've said. They've tapped into the market that nobody had hold of, and it's worked really well. So
yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, but final question in this personal section as such. This is a good one. I like this question. Halo 3 or Call of Duty 4?
Yes, could potentially be a bit controversial.
I know, I like the question. And that was my sleeper, by the way, on the forum. Thanks for
the question. Good question, mate. I'll be honest, and for me, it's Call of Duty 4.
Yeah.
I've always been into Halo, and I used to, when I was a student, me and my guy I was living with at the time, we used to play a lot of multiplayer Halo, on the original Xbox, and I remember his mates used to come across from Glasgow and they'd bring their Xboxes and we'd system link up and have about 3 or 4 TVs in the room, and it was just brilliant. But Call of Duty 4, I just loved it. It just absolutely blew me away. I think for an FPS to show such mastery of the genre and do such new and cool and exciting things, I just thought was amazing. Like as a single player experience, I thought it was the best FPS I've ever played. Just loved it.
Same here. I mean, I am not an FPS person, not at all. I'll play them because they do look cool, they look good, and most of your friends are playing them, as you know. But you're right. The Call of Duty 4 has just totally moved it on to, I think, what everybody's now got to do, because it was an awesome single player game. The level in the helicopter, I think, was probably one of the single best levels I've ever seen in gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you play it online though at all?
I haven't played it online as much as I'd like to, and I kind of wish I'd had more time to do that. And I would say for Halo 3, I think what Bungie's done with multiplayer gaming is revolutionary. And I think without Halo 2, I'm not sure if Call of Duty 4 multiplayer would have been, as good. I think they've really pushed that forward.
Yeah.
And then even Halo 3, you can see the online stuff is just superb.
Yeah.
But a lot of the guys at work are absolutely hooked on Call of Duty 4 online.
I mean, you can't blame them though. I mean, even if they work, like you say, for Microsoft, I mean, you can't help but see that it's an absolute stunning game.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, we all, we're all gamers. We all, we love all games. If it's a good game, then we're going to play it. And I think, I think Infinity Ward really, they deserve all the credit they get. I just think they've done an amazing job on it. So, roll on number 5.
I agree. So we'll move on now to Xbox-ish questions that you may or may not be able to answer, guys. So I've already said that. So we'll move on.
Well, it's not that I won't be able to answer them, but if it's something that's kind of not really within my scope of work, if it's a bigger issue or whatever.
I have tried to siphon them questions out, because I will say that a lot of people on the forums were asking questions about the red rings, and I don't think it's relevant, to be honest, because it's not your job. But anyway.
We've all got our opinions on it. It's just, I wouldn't want people to think that, my opinions on some of these things are kind of the gospel. Correct. Or official statement or whatever. So
anyway, we'll move on. And the first question is from me originally, and Solid Snake queued, because this was a running joke on our show for a few weeks. As you know, we've got plenty of US listeners as co-host on Wednesdays, US, so I get to know what they do in virtually every day. So my question was, and I hope you can answer this, was why does the UK get no free tab in the new update Blade system like the Americans have?
On Spotlight and Marketplace.
Yeah, you go into Spotlight and Marketplace, across the tabs, they've got a free section. It just categorises all it nicely in one place. Is there any reason why we haven't got it?
Do you know what? I'm not sure. I think what happened is when the update came in, the Marketplace team made a decision on what those tabs would be.
Yeah.
And for one reason or another, for Europe, they decided that they wouldn't have the free tab. What I would say is that there's not content in there that's that we're missing out on specifically, unless it's content that's licensed only for the US or whatever. So all that free content's still there on Marketplace. It's just not categorized in that simple way, which I understand is probably a good idea.
It is. I mean, I think, to be honest, when I first heard that was in the update, it was one of the most. I know it's sad, but it's one of the greatest things I was looking forward to have things basically in one place. Like you say, it's not as good as it first sounds, because I think people I had got the inkling that you was going to click on it and it contained literally every gamer pick, everything that was free on the system. But like you say, it doesn't really do that. But I'd like to see it. I think it's a nice little addition. But
yeah. Well, my concern is that people think that because that tab's there, they are missing out on content that they would be getting otherwise if that tab was there in the UK, and that's kind of not the case. No. I mean, obviously there is free content that will go up in the US sometimes, and I understand this is, kind of, there's sometimes content that goes up in the US that I can't get in the UK, and me as a gamer, I would like to get. But it's licensing and it's issues.
I think everybody's learning the fact about licensing, both in movies, games, and demos and stuff. I think we're learning to live with it, really. But
it's just a shame. It's so visible.
It is a shame. Yeah, it is. But next question from Swept. What do you think that can be done to improve Inside Xbox? But as we said at the beginning, it's being done already, I think. But I'll let you elaborate because it's a good question.
Yeah, well, this has been a really interesting one, and I'll tell you what, Inside Xbox, right? There's so much potential there. It could be such an exciting, an interesting part of the Xbox, and it's something that I'm working on just now, and have been for a wee while, and along with the other some of the other guys on the team.
Is it a main part of your job inside Xbox, or is it part of your whole team? Are you
sort of? It came in with the fall update. Or the update in November or December, and that was it kind of launching. So we've been figuring out, what the workflow is, how we use it, how we make it better, how we get good content in there. And that's, to be honest, that's been a little bit of a slower process than I would have liked. From my point of view, I'm kind of at the moment I'm doing some of the scheduling. I'm putting together some of that, the content as well. So, the words that are on there are usually written by me.
So the content is that we've seen in the past 2 weeks with the videos arriving from GDC are going to continue and get better then?
Yes. See, this is the key thing, right? I think we've kind of got the text updates now, right? We're speaking about what's on Marketplace. If there's something happening, we can do that. And we're updating that daily now, which I think is a good improvement. And sometimes with 2 or 3 pages a day. The next thing now is to get that video in, because obviously the US feed and the US team have been doing a great job of getting video together and putting that up. And I think that's the really cool thing, right? That's the really engaging bit that people like. And I like, yeah. So the great thing about GDC was that we actually went over to the States maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. We met with all the team that are working on Inside Xbox over there, and we said, we need to get some of this cool content out to our UK guys. So they went to GDC, and we were very looked up on what kind of content they were producing and whether we could use it in the UK. And I think they produced some brilliant content, and it was a real pleasure to put it up on the UK feed because it was really relevant, it was really exciting, it was interesting, it was timely as well. We had stuff up there just hours after the keynote speech and so on and so forth.
I think that's an important point as well. As long as the information that goes on there is as new as possibly can, I think that's when it'll work really well.
And then going forward, the next part of that is to start getting more video up there, to keep that going, but also to start producing video that's particularly relevant for the UK or European audience as well. And the nice thing is that we're kind of starting that now. So this week, CeBIT and the World Cyber Games in Germany. Yeah. And I'm really chuffed that I'm actually going out there.
Oh, very great.
It'll be really nice to kind of be part of that. And so the Trixie, who you'll know from the US Xbox team, she's going out there as well with Video Monkey and some of their other video team. Yeah. So we'll be shooting some video out there, which we'll be able to use on both the US and the UK Inside Xbox. And I think that'll be, that's the exciting first step towards doing some.
Will that
stuff.
Will that be daily content, or have you not decided yet? Or?
We're still doing some scheduling on it and some planning. Yeah, so hopefully. I'm hoping so. Yeah, there's lots of stuff going on. We've got some cool plans together. Should be some funny and exciting and interesting stuff up there. So
something to look forward to. I mean,
exactly.
Just a bit of a question that probably move on from this is from Blues Maverick. He asks that with this Inside Xbox, I suppose, or in an indirect plan, have you any plans to start your own podcast like Major Nelson? As we know, Major Nelson's got a big one and it's more US relevant. So have you got any plans?
So how can I take on Major Nelson though?
I know. We got to number 2 in the podcast charts, just behind Major Nelson at Christmas.
You've done well.
Shame. Yeah, it was. So
You should take him down. Take him down. I want to see you.
I have tried to get I have tried to get contact with the man just for a small interview. I have never even got a reply. So
Oh, really?
really, I've
That
tried.
surprises me, because
I've tried emails. I have tried gamer tag messages. I've even put the official. I think he requests an interview email address, and I've tried that. I've not had one single reply. So if you can pull a few strings, it would be pretty cool.
well, what I would say is Larry's usually really good at getting back to everyone,
he?
and he is. He's ridiculously busy.
Oh,
you know,
I know
and
he is.
you can
I know
imagine
he
how
is.
many requests he much gets. So,
Yeah.
you know,
It's
don't
a
take
shame.
it for.
No. But yeah, have you any plans then to follow in the footsteps or do a podcast
Yeah.
or blog or anything?
What I did do some in the past about, well, I guess over a year ago now, and we put them up on Xbox.com in the UK.
Yeah.
And they were quite, you know, they went down all right. It was kind of me in a studio on my own, and you know, we'd try and stick some interview segments and things in there.
Yeah.
It was
very hard to do on your own though.
exactly. That's exactly what we found. It's just, you know, it's not that entertaining when it's just you on your own speaking about stuff. So I've been thinking about it, and the thing I've been speaking to OXM
Yeah.
in the UK about whether we can do something together, and you know, we haven't worked anything properly out yet, but the idea is that, you know, I get together with the OXM team. You know, and we sit around and we talk about games and we talk about what's happening, and you know, give it a bit of a different spin. What I don't want to do is just try and do the same thing that Larry or Major Nelson's doing.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do something a bit different. So I think that'd be quite good, because I know all the guys from OXM. You know, we're good mates, and you know, we have a good laugh as well. And as you say, when you get a number of people together in a room, you know, you get different opinions. You get a bit of a joke going. You know,
it creates its own atmosphere. That's how it works well. So it's probably a good idea. I think it'd be pretty popular.
Yeah, well, you know, I hope so. So we're gonna have a try at that and see how it goes down, and obviously take some feedback and see what people want. Yeah, but I would say, you know, keep an eye on my blog at acybongos.com, and keep an eye on OXM as well, maybe, and we'll keep you posted on what's going on.
A question from Interceptor and Mr. Gav, which I think is a good question, because I would like to know this as well. Why doesn't the UK and Europe get as many really good, cool competitions as like the US does? Is it again licensing problems, or have you plans to do so?
It's something we're definitely looking at, and I hope everyone's noticed that we've just launched a big new Halo 3 tournament sponsored by Samsung TV this week for Europe. So you'll see that on Xbox.com, and it's on the dashboard on the console itself now. It looks great. So that's really exciting, because that's a Europe-wide tournament. Some really cool prizes in there. You know, I think that's going to be a lot of fun to be a part of. You mentioned licensing. I think for Europe, it's often more a case that, you know, in the US you've got one country, one legal system, one language. Yeah. In Europe, you've got, you know, 18 different countries, 18 legal systems, 16 languages.
Have you not any plans for just UK competitions then at the minute?
Yeah, well, the UK team I think they do a pretty good job of getting some UK competitions up there, and promotions and things. I think it's definitely something we need to do more of and work harder on. But as I say, hopefully, you know, I hope everyone has had a look at the Samsung TV Halo 3 tournament, and you know, becomes part of that and gets involved in that.
Yeah,
then we can
quite
kind of
a good
take
one.
that.
It is on Inside Xbox, isn't it? If you want to check it out, I think
It is, yeah. But it's probably more visible on the just the dashboard now. I think we've got lots of promotion running up there now. There's if you go to the marketplace blade, and then click on the big advert for the Halo 3 tournament there, it actually opens up kind of like a little microsite, so you can get more information and download the free content. So there's free gamer picks and a free theme that you can download. And if you download the gamer picks, that's it. That's you actually registered for the tournament itself.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so that kicks off on March the 18th. Registration's open now, so you can download the gamer picks now. And then on March the 18th, a playlist will open up on Halo 3 in the tournaments playlist section, and you'll be able to go in there and start working on your ranking. You know, we've got some cool prizes. So there'll be a national champion for each country in Europe, and then we'll have a European final. So there'll be someone will be the European champion, which is pretty sweet.
Really good.
Yeah. So yeah, but to answer the question, I suppose, you know, it's something we're aware of. We're trying to work on it more. and kind of thanks for the feedback, to be honest, because the more people ask for these things, the more it means I can go back to the team and say, look, we need to.
It's one of the biggest questions we seem to. Contests always get people interested, and it's a shame that we don't get a lot over here. But anyway, next question is from Monkey Chunk UK. What do you feel is the best update to the dashboard blade, either past or previous or the current one?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? I like Inside Xbox, right? I think, I think in the long run, I know it's, it kind of started quite slowly, especially in the UK, and we did get quite a lot of negative feedback, which was good because, we need that to take it on.
Do you actually take this feedback really serious?
Definitely.
I think customers, from our point of view, and listeners probably sit there and think, I think they all do, we comment and things, do they take this in? But you say you actually take it in and do something about it then?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, that's, that's a big part of my job. Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if people look at acybongos.com, I think one of the things I try to do is be really honest. If people are giving us negative feedback, then I try and address that. And with Inside Xbox, we definitely did that. We put it up there. I said, oh, look, we've got this new feature. I'm kind of on there just now. Have a look. Tell us what you think. We got basically got flamed. There was a lot of negative stuff, and especially when people were comparing it to the US feed. And I like to think that we were pretty honest, and I was posting stuff up and saying, thanks. We know it needs to get better. Give us your ideas and opinions, and we definitely take them on board. That's a really big part of what we do, and that's why I'm in the job. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Which it clearly has, like we can see. It's clearly got a lot better.
Yeah, well, that's good. And what I would say as well, the whole Xbox team, for the most part, we're all gamers. We're all checking the forums. We're all on the specialist sites and the community sites all the time. We do connect with what's going on. And it's we do take things. Maybe personally is not the right word, but if people are saying negative things, then we want to sort that out and for people to say positive things. Nobody wants to have negative things said about the things they're doing. So
just a question that's come to me off the top of my head then regarding that. Then just what actual control have you got regarding what can be and can't be done? Say things need changing in the blade system, or you need to do something. Have you got to go to, like, say, a higher level and put this forward, and is there a criteria to do such things? Do you have really big control, or how does it work?
Well, it depends on the situation. Obviously, there's some things we can change quicker than others.
Yeah.
If it's more of a technical thing, like you mentioned there about blades or about,
to say
an update,
there's a question just about that. You could probably answer it. Where Zan has actually asked, is there any plans that you're aware of for the constant refreshing of the blade system? Because obviously you must get it as everybody else does, where the circle, it's refreshing all the time. Are Microsoft aware of this and trying to address it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm kind of surprised that's come up again, because I've certainly noticed for me that's got a lot better. I don't really see it that much anymore.
I can say, I must admit, from my personal point of view, I don't know about anybody else, I get it a hell of a lot, and I've got a really fast internet connection. And it is. I can say it's still there from my personal view. So if you obviously say that you look at it, then it is being looked into. So. Well,
I think we're all aware of some of the issues we had over the Christmas period, and and some of the stuff that came out from that. Those kind of problems are definitely the ones that we want to address first. If it's actually hitting you on your dashboard and affecting your experience, then those are the ones that people are definitely aware of and working on. When we had those issues over Christmas, I'm sure you saw Mark Whitten's open letter.
Yeah, it was. It was a bit annoying, I suppose. But I'm of the ilk that think people only complain when things go wrong. You don't see people going mad when it's going right 99% of the time. And I actually stuck up for Microsoft at that point, because I actually thought, yes, it's bad. It's at a bad time, but it's just one of them things, and you've just got to stick with it.
Yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, people pay for a service, right? And you expect a service to be there, and and we totally understand that, and that's why people were working so hard and are still working really hard on making sure that that's sorted out. And
on that point of cost, you've just raised a question to my head that's not in the list again. Are you aware of any plans to alter the pricing of Xbox Live at all? Because as we all know, Sony is, in quotes, free for the home system and everything. So have they any plans, or just don't you know?
Not any plans that I know of.
Right.
I'm afraid. Yeah. No, I mean it's not something that I've heard anything about. That doesn't mean to say it won't ever happen. What I would say is that fair enough. PlayStation 3 you can play online free. From my point of view, and you can take this as you want. It maybe sounds like I'm just saying it because I work for Xbox or whatever.
Yeah.
For me, £3.30 a month for the service that Xbox Live gives you, I think is pretty good value. And I think if you compare that side by side with PlayStation Network, or even what Wii gives you,
I mean,
feature by feature, and also for the service, I think for me it's good value for money.
I think you're right. I mean, if we're honest, if Sony comes up with a system that's very similar to Microsoft and keeps it free, then I think Microsoft would actually have to look into it, I suppose. But
well, exactly, and it'll be interesting to see, when Home comes in, when Little Big Planet, is that what it's called? I always get confused. Because what was that old game on PC that was like Little Big Adventure? Little Big Adventure.
It was
remember
Little
that?
Big Adventure. I do remember
I always
that,
get them
sadly.
confused.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I had
Little
that
Big
for
Planet. Must admit, it's not something I think is going to work, but that's just my views. But anyway, let's get on with these questions.
The buzz is amazing, isn't it? When those things come in,
Now.
and if they do a great job of supporting the community through those kind of features, then then good on them. I think until then, I think if you look at it soberly, I think Xbox Live, notwithstanding some of the issues that we've just talked about, I think is a fantastic service.
It is. I think it is. I mean, it's the best out there by a million miles. But anyway, next questions. Do you know if there are any plans to sell full 360 titles similar to the old Xbox titles at all?
Again, I'm not aware of anything.
Yeah.
I really love Xbox Originals, and that I think that's from Xbox Live Arcade to Xbox Originals. I think that idea of being able to download full games through your console is just brilliant. It's so nice to be able to come home at night and you want to play something new, but obviously all the shops are closed and so on and so forth. To be able to do that's brilliant, and that's why I'm really chuffed about Video Store as well, coming to UK and France and Germany.
I must admit, the Video Store, I've actually used it as I've got myself a nice HD telly recently, and I must admit it's a lot better than I thought it was.
Good.
They download really, really quickly for me, so I've never had any issues that some people have commented on. So yeah, it works well. I mean,
good.
Just as a question on that, I suppose in relevancy to the online gaming's being downloaded, are there any plans to reduce hard drive prices? As we know, the 120 gig hard drive is a little pricey still.
Again, mate, I wish I could answer that, but I just don't know. It's we've got a product team in the European office who would probably give you a more definitive answer on that, but I don't know. Sorry.
No problem. I understand. I mean, the final question in this section, then, before we move on, is what is your vision? This is a question by Magic Muffin Man. By the end of this year, what is your vision for Xbox Live service in Europe?
Oh, my vision. Well, I think for me, I was thinking about this earlier, and I think the most important thing for Live and for us is the community, and continuing to support that brilliant community that we've already got on Xbox Live, and growing that, and taking the feedback and making sure that we're acting on what people want and what people need. I'd love to see, again, it'll be interesting to see what the next updates bring. Yeah, I don't really know in terms of new features. I guess your imagination could run away with you, couldn't it? But
no little secret rumours of spring updates yet, then, that you know already.
No, I haven't heard anything, mate. I'm afraid.
Right.
Nothing yet. I mean, I'm really keen to see.
Yeah.
But off the top of my head, the one thing that people ask me about all the time, right? And it's not a massive thing.
Yeah.
Right? And certainly not for an overall vision of Xbox Live. But people ask me all the time about group chat over Live.
This is a question I was just going to say.
Is it?
That, yeah, one of the questions is from Backfired was, are you aware of Microsoft changing the amount of chat on Xbox Live? As we all know, you only...
Well, there you go, eh?
Yeah.
I rest my case. No, that's definitely, that's one of the most requested
Yeah.
things. And people are aware of that as well. I'm not sure, if and when that'll come in, but I think that would be a really good thing to put in place.
Yeah.
Just show people that we are taking on board that feedback. But again, I have no idea if it will. I'm certainly, when I get that feedback, I take that on and let people know that we're getting that.
Yeah.
But the decision to sort of plug that all in goes on me, I'm afraid.
I think it's one that I think I would really like to see, the multiple chat system, and who knows,
That'd be cool,
this year maybe because they keep talking about it, don't they? So
Fingers crossed.
we'll move on to the general section, and these questions I've got a feeling that are probably going to be your just personal views. So we'll move on to the first one. It's from Crazy Fruit Bat. And he asks, due to the escalating costs of making video games, do you think it's possible for new startup companies to survive in today's market, especially in the UK?
Well, to be honest, it's that side of the industry is not something I've got, an awful lot of knowledge. What I would say is I think, some of the stuff we've seen from XNA recently is really cool. And I think what was great at GDC is that, we've talked about XNA for a while, but at GDC, when we showed some of those games and you could actually download those games to your Xbox, anyone could do that. I think that really showed, what XNA really is. You can actually get hands-on with a game that someone's just put together in their bedroom. Whatever.
It surprised me. I think this week I've played them a lot, and it surprised me. I mean, the dishwasher that everybody's going crazy over, made by a single person, and I love the video Major Nelson did. If anybody's not seen it,
that was brilliant, wasn't it?
Check it out. It's absolutely awesome, really well made. But that is just a brilliant game, and if that's what we've got to look forward to, then it'll be great.
Sure. So I think that's that's a good example of how fair enough if the actual business and the industry side of it's getting really competitive and really difficult for people to crack into. XNA gives everyone an opportunity, and it seems like those tools are powerful enough that you can produce something really impactful and really exciting and something that people get excited about, like Dishwasher.
Just to clear a question up from myself personally that we was talking about on the show. I mean, I don't know if you can answer this, but as regarding the NXA, then what are the actual direct plans from Microsoft's point of view? As an example, let's take Dishwasher. Let's say you've given us a look at it now on the 17-day trial on XNA. Are the plans to then move, say it's finished, polished, everybody's agreed, are the plans to then move it into Xbox Live Arcade and charge points for people to pay for it, or is it going to be free? What are the plans?
So I think, as I understand it, right, and this is my understanding of it.
This is what we were saying. Nobody's quite cleared it up yet, have they? So.
Yeah, I think what will happen is that if you subscribe to the XNA Creators Club and you're creating games, what you'll eventually be able to do is submit them for a peer review process. Right. So there'll be people probably internally at Xbox and also key people within the XNA community who will look at what you've submitted and make a decision whether that should be shared on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
If it does get shared on Xbox Live, then it'll be at a point where, similar to the games that were released at GDC, people will be able to go in there, like as in me or you or anyone else, will be able to go on Xbox Live and download that sort of trial version of the game.
And then pay for it.
Well, yeah, I'm sure someone mentioned recently that Dishwasher is going to end up as an Xbox Live Arcade game. Yeah. But I think what's not going to happen is that anyone will be able to submit anything.
No.
Because obviously there's a...
Yeah. I think everybody understands the point of, games get submitted by people that invent them. It's just that I think people weren't clear. Or I know that one or two of our listeners have mentioned where, what are the final plans for the the best quality games out there? Are they coming to Live Arcade? I think certainly a lot of people think that's what's going to happen, or I hope that happens anyway.
Yeah. I think that's the idea of the process is that the best stuff will bubble up to the top, and people, and it'll almost be like, it'll be like like the Arctic Monkeys, right? They were on MySpace or whatever, and they didn't have a record deal or whatever, but they got word of mouth. And people got behind them, and they got to #1 in the singles chart just from downloads, right? It'll be that kind of thing. So it's not just that something ends up in the shop, it's actually the community that decide whether it's good enough to get to the
So
charts.
these guys that are making them, again, using Dishwasher I think as the best example, do these guys actually get paid for this then, or is it totally hobby orientated and they're hoping to get picked up by a company? Because I'm guessing now this guy who's made dishwasher is going to be pretty well
He'll
made.
be hot property, I think. Yeah.
If he's not already. But
Seems like such a nice guy as well, doesn't he?
He does. Look, I'm actually really, really chuffed for the guy that he's one man. It really is. I suppose he's the vision of XNA. He's a one lonely guy sat in his home making an absolutely fantastic game. I mean, obviously, I'm guessing somebody snapped him up, but they don't get paid for anything. Then it's purely hobby orientated.
Well, I mean, if you've downloaded Creators Club and if you're working on your own game, then it's a hobby. I'm not sure at what point it becomes. You maybe start getting some money in for your game. I'm guessing if, let's just say theoretically your game does end up on Xbox Live Arcade, then I would assume you're going to get, some profit
somewhere along the line. So right. I mean, moving on because the interview is going on quite long. I've got 2 more questions. I'll cut it down to one from the guy from Spark name. He asks, "What do you think of Sony's Home?" We've talked about it a bit, and would you think it would ever look good, something similar on the Microsoft system at any time?
Well, we mentioned Home not long ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
So I think I think it's interesting. I kind of like.
Do you think Xbox would ever benefit from having like an integral system like that?
Well, listen, the way I look at it is that Xbox Live at the moment has all those community features already.
Yeah.
Fair enough. You're not, you don't go on there and dress up an avatar and clothes and walk around, but in a way that's kind of nice, I think, right? If I want to send my mate a message, I don't want to have to walk over to a message portal or whatever and do it. I just want to, press my guide button and do it. If I want to go and chat to my friend, I don't want to have to walk to a communal area and find him. No, I'm sure, I'm being flippant, and I'm sure it's not as long-winded as that. But I think, it's worth pointing out that the stuff on Xbox Live is probably very similar to the functionality that'll add, but just not in quite a graphical way.
Yeah, I'm in full agreement with you there. I mean, personally, Home, what they're trying to do, I think it's a good idea. I actually think Home, when it comes out, will be a far, far cut-down version that they originally planned for. Like you say, people want it now, quick, easy, and I think Xbox provides it. Personally, that's my view anyway. But
I think people will get. I think the good thing about Home and the advantage it has is that people will be impressed by the way it looks, and they'll kind of get the idea of it. It's you create your character, you're in this virtual world, and this is your representation. I think having your apartment or whatever and furnishing that with stuff that you get, it's cool, right? But I think we've seen with Second Life, which is to me looks visually quite similar.
That's the big in joke, isn't it? It's Home is Second Life too. So that's what they're saying.
Second Life looks cool and everything, but if you look at the engagement numbers for Second Life, they haven't lasted that well. So people love to get in there and have a go at it, but then are they still logging on in a month's time or 2 months' time or 6 months' time?
It's certainly going to be worth watching. I mean, like we all know, competition makes it what it is. It needs competition. So.
That's exactly right. And good luck to them. I hope it. I hope it does push things forward, because that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But litmus test will be a few months down the line.
Well, let's see how it goes. I mean, final question, then we'll round this off with a nice question from Long John McNasty. Great name. What
sounds like
game,
a pirate.
He does sound like a Scottish pirate as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
What game are you most looking forward to this year, 2008? And we'll finish with that one.
Right. This is a tie. Am I allowed a tie?
Yeah, go on.
It's Grand Theft Auto 4.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'll just. Do you know what? I love Grand Theft Auto. I've always loved Grand Theft Auto, right? From the very first one I had it on PC, and I've been looking forward to GTA 4. But it's only been the last 3 weeks or something where I've really been like, oh, I cannot wait now. I've really just kind of got that buzz now. And I've pre-ordered the special edition last week, I think, so I'm looking forward to getting that. I love what Rockstar do with their games. I think they're so smart. I think they're always kind of the moment. Do you know what I mean? Like when Vice City came out, the whole 80s resurgence was just kicking off, and that just seemed to capture it like right there. And then same with San Andreas, it just felt so cool. And they're just such clever games as well. I love the satire in them, and they're great fun to play. So
it's a franchise I have never got into.
Really?
No, honestly, and this is a joke on our show. Everybody's screaming for it. I have no desire to play that whatsoever.
Why is that? Why haven't you ever got into it?
Do you know? I've not. To me, I mean, I have this argument with Fly on the midweek show. To me, I mean, I've played the other two. The only thing I ever used to do on Grand Theft Auto games was log in, switch on, go to the first car that I grabbed, get in the car, and just endlessly, mindlessly drive about. Now, obviously, I'm playing it wrong, and obviously this new version obviously does look very, very good, and I probably will try it. But I've never ever got into it deep like a lot of people seem to. But I will check it out. But yeah.
Well, I think this one will be interesting because it's apparently it's it's kind of more focused. It's the playing area is smaller, a bit more detailed, and there's more stuff you can kind of do within that area. So maybe for you, it might be a bit more. You might be able to get into it a little bit deeper. I don't know.
I'll certainly check it out this time because there's no question it looks good, and it will cause controversy as it always does. So.
Yeah, well, yeah.
What was your second most look forward to game?
Rock Band.
Yeah, don't start me on that. That's the big question every week we bring up. Can't wait for it.
I was out in Seattle.
I bet you've played it.
I played it a few times actually. I've been really lucky.
Yeah.
I played it first time like last November.
Yeah. Have you seen actual builds in the UK then to be played?
Just US builds.
You've just using the US builds, and you've no insider information to feed us of any idea of its release at all.
I'm afraid not, mate. It's because it's not an Xbox or a Microsoft Game Studio game. It's I believe it's EA and MTV.
It is. I'm actually in touch with a nice lady from EA who is keeping me posted. So
right, there you probably know more than me.
I probably do. I mean, it's looking pretty like June, which is sadly enough. But yeah,
really,
it's looking pretty late. It's getting later as it goes on.
Well, that's why I've been so lucky because I've been able to play it. I can because I love Guitar Hero. I can imagine if I hadn't been able to play Rock Band yet, I would be frantic to try and get up with it. So. But yeah, I was out in Seattle a few weeks ago seeing the Xbox team over there, and I was in the Gamerscore blog team's office. And, they've had it since November. Yeah, Nelson's a great guy. Really
actually, I don't know if you're aware of this, but we actually linked to their Achievement Junkies. That's how we first started.
All right, good.
We actually have a 2-minute news section on their show every week.
Nice.
So that's how we got started. That's how we got all our numbers. Everybody from there came over. We've got a news section on there. So yeah, we've tried to get an interview with Nelson and the Gamerscore blog guys, but he's very busy now.
So, yeah, he is. Yeah.
So Rock Band is as good as everybody's saying.
Oh, I mean, I just love it. Like, I love Guitar Hero. To be honest, right, I'm a bit of a karaoke fan.
I was going to say, what's your favourite section going to be? Are you going to be the crooner then? You're going to be the singer, are you?
I like a bit of singing. I do like a bit of singing. So, I'll tell you a quick story, right? I know we're going on a long time, but when we first played it in November, we actually had like a big European Xbox meeting in Amsterdam in a hotel. So there was loads of people there, and it was like kind of the first time we were talking about Rock Band. So we actually had a copy of the US version there, and it was all set up in the hotel lobby. And the idea was that when everyone came out of their meetings at the end of the day, Rock Band would be there and kind of, like a sort of like set up like a little stage almost. Yeah. So of course I knew it was going to be there, so I'm like running out of the meeting, let me at it, grabbing the microphone, Yeah. And because it was kind of set up as a stage, like a lot of people weren't too keen on getting up in front of everyone else. So I must have been on for about 2 hours, just doing everything I could. It was brilliant, singing. Guitar. The drums are amazing as well. The drums are great fun.
I was about to say, Fly, say our co-host, he's got it, and he will not shut up about every week's downloadable content. The content they're doing is absolutely brilliant.
It's just brilliant, isn't it? It's so good to see that it's downloading so well as well. It's consistently high in the download charts, which is brilliant.
Do you know, I think everybody thinks, going on about this subject a bit, that nobody can quite understand Activision's train of thought, the way they're handling downloadable content. When you see Rock Band selling that many weekly content, this week they issued 6 again this week.
Sure.
It's just amazing.
I think they do have the advantage of being tied in with MTV though, and I think that opens up.
I think that is the big plus point. I think everybody's open here, as I really am, that when we do get it, we get all this content unlocked immediately, because I think that could cause problems.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Well, what I would like to see, I think that's definitely a valid point. I just hope that there's content that's been specifically thought of for a European audience as well.
That's a good point. I was talking to somebody yesterday on about Guitar Hero. I am not a rocker. I don't like the heavy rock scene. I've got to enjoy a few tracks on Guitar Hero. I would love to see more pop-generated songs. More mainstream songs. Cries out for it. The No Doubt track yesterday was fantastic. One of my favourite songs of all time. So.
No, I agree. I think Guitar Hero 3 especially, I think when you got towards the bottom of the track list, it was quite, a lot of it was either really heavy or quite obscure.
Yeah.
The ones I kind of enjoy the most are, the Killers song on there. I really like that song, and that's on Rock Band as well, actually.
I mean, it's...
it's the stuff you hear on the radio that you can really get into that's quite, it's cool fun.
This Aerosmith, what's your just personal thoughts on the Aerosmith release coming up soon?
I think that's brilliant. I'm not, I like Aerosmith, but I've never really been that much into their back catalogue, so I don't really know the songs that well. But I think it's a cool idea, and especially like if you're a massive fan of a band like that, then you'll love that, right? Like I would love to see, it's gonna make me sound so cool, but like, there's a couple actually. Bruce Springsteen, right? Bruce Springsteen on Rock Band, how good would that be?
I'm surprised.
Or Dire Straits.
I'm very surprised Rock Band hasn't gone the album route that they promised so far. I don't know whether that's licensing issues because they have promised full albums, didn't they, on release, and that's never.
Yeah, well, I guess they're going to see how the downloads are going. I think wasn't there? There was a track pack recently. I think that was some of the track packs are themed around specific bands.
I think the last two, the one that's just released next week, is a 6-track pack by, I'm not mistaken, Grateful Dead. I think this week.
Yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Yeah,
so,
which is that's probably half of their greatest hits.
So anyway. I think we'll better wrap this up because it's been a lot longer than we first thought. But
that's right.
Can't thank you enough. Yeah, can't thank you enough. Time is not an issue. I just want to say thank you very much indeed for coming on the show, and I really appreciate it.
No problem, mate. I've really
enjoyed it. Would you like to plug your website, your blog?
Oh, I'd love to. It's so it's pretty easy. It's www.acebongos.com. Acey Bongos is ACEYBONGOS. So yeah, no, I'd really like it if people, checked out and let me know what they think. It's I guess it's a little bit like Major Nelson. We put up the European marketplace content, any updates, things that are going on within Xbox, specifically in the UK and Europe. And I try and kind of, we try and do a few more kind of personal things in there. So it's a bit of fun as well. So
I mean, I would just back that up for people who don't know, that's never been. It's very, very similar to Major Nelson's website where he posts everything that's coming on, but obviously it's UK and Europe banned, so it's worth a visit. So anyway, I will thank you again, AC, Graham. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, and thanks everyone for listening. I hope it didn't bore you too much.
No, I bet you didn't. So, that's it from us both. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Cheers, mate.
And that was Toz having a chat with Mr. Acey Bongos there.
He was a nice guy. It was supposed to only be a 15-minute interview. Came across really well, chatted before, and I think it was a lot nicer guy than I suppose I was expecting. What did surprise me was his answers. I think they were brilliant answers regarding PS3, Sony, the Wii.
And further proof, folks, that podcasting on your own doesn't work very well.
Yeah, true.
Unless your name's Gaming Steve.
Yeah, he managed to pull it off, didn't he? He pulled it off really, really well.
I know it's a bit of a tangent, but it's even Major Nelson stopped doing it on his own. He now has E with him all the time.
It is. It's a hard thing to do. I mean, everybody who does it, you need people to do it. You just you bounce off each other with topics anyway. But Acey has certainly spread himself around. If you don't have been onto his blog site, it's a good site if you've not been. It's now in my homepage tabs where it's basically our version of MajorNelson.com. Anything that goes on the marketplace, we get to hear about it first there, so it is worth a plug and it is worth visiting.
I mean, also one of the things he was saying, it also goes to prove what sometimes it can be a bit of a thankless job doing that kind of thing. Like I said, when he was posting up, and he was getting a lot of abuse over, why is this not here, this, that, and the other, and he was getting crap and all. It's just a bit unfair.
It was. I mean, to be honest, I was one at the forefront. The free tab I was livid about. Well, not livid about. I just wanted to know why we didn't have it.
I had to laugh at the fact that you got your free tab comment in there.
But he still didn't answer it, though. Give him his dues. He skated around it slightly, or he didn't know the answer. But what I will say, and I think we all know, that it is actually becoming. It is, and I'm not just saying it. It is becoming one of my favourite parts of the Blades. I'm actually looking forward to the Inside Xbox because the stuff on it this week now from the show in Germany is really, really good. There's Rock Band coverage on there if you've not checked today. Came up last night where it's Rock Band, it's everything. It's really good. Really good.
And to be fair to him, he's a community manager. He's not going to know everything, and also he might not be able to tell you everything as well, folks. So
No, I mean, like, guys, I mean, obviously you all read the post with the questions in. There was some questions about the red ring and stuff and things like that, and, you know, he can't answer that thing. He's not going to answer that for a start, which is, I don't blame him at all. But I think he did well. He came across, he answered some really good questions.
And let's face it, being in that position, it's not. It sometimes, like as I said, it can be quite thankful because you got to appreciate the work that both he and Major Nelson do. Getting the word out there. And
I think. Go on.
I was just going to say, and yes, sometimes we've ourselves had a moan about Acey on the show and stuff, but you know, at least someone is out there doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him do his own podcast. If people don't know, he's made one this week with Official Xbox Magazine in the UK. That's worth a listen. I've listened to that. That's quite interesting.
Hey folks, how about this? Acey and Toz do a podcast together.
Be quite good, that would. He has actually said, forgot to mention this, he wants to come back on the show, probably do a whole show once, so might even be able to pull that off.
Hey,
so he was really interested.
I'll tell you what, Acey, if you're listening, you have an open invitation to actually come on Cranky Gamers UK.
Yeah,
and we promise not to give you too much of a hard time. But do expect the Mickey to be extracted from you.
Yeah, but anyway, all in all, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Obviously, you can comment on the forums. I enjoyed it, and like I say, it was a 15-minute supposed interview that went along a lot longer, but it was good. I thought I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean, and at least you know he wrote back to us. Major, we are looking at you.
We did mention Major. I've said to him try and get me a contact because I still have not heard from that guy, and I've tried to contact him on more than one occasion, but I do appreciate he must be one of the most inundated emailed or messages, and you can't blame him really. How do you siphon it all out?
Well, exactly, and like I said, you've got to appreciate that the work that both Acey does and Major does, you know, they do go out there and they do give you information. So I'll tell you what, guys, why not send a little thank you to him? I know it sounds a bit corny, but make him at least feel appreciated. I know we've said some stuff that we didn't always agree with some of the way stuff was done, but at least, you know, we have someone that does that kind of thing.
I agree. I mean, go on his site, guys. The links are on they'll be in the forum. Go to his site. He's got you can comment all on there, and I'm sure he'd appreciate it. And to be honest, for him to give an interview to a little podcast like us is
little. That's the bone I have to pick with you. We are not little podcast.
Okay,
I think podcast at least.
Okay, we'll say medium, but you know where I'm coming from. For him to pick us to come on to, I think was pretty impressive. I think we were shocked at the time when he said, when I got a message back within half an hour, he actually said that he subscribes to our podcast, which took us both by amazing surprise. But all in all, I think hopefully it does us some good. It comes out well. But I think the next thing I might try and get is Gamerscore blog interview. So if any of you out there, Nelson and stuff,
Nelson Rodriguez, we are looking at you as well.
I wouldn't mind trying to get Gamerscore blog. I think that'd be a really good interview.
We'll offer you free nude pictures of, oh God, who's the woman he always goes on about?
Oh, I can't remember. But I tell you what, it would be a good interview because they are more on the technical side, and maybe them red ring questions could get answered. So,
yes, beat them to death with their own red ring questions. All right, let's move on to the question of the week. Well, some of your answers from last week because there were some corkers. And if you remember, my question last week was, what games would you like to see a HD remake of for Xbox Live or the PlayStation 3, right? No one, I'm quite surprised, took the mickey out of me for Bubble Bobble.
That's a great game. Fantastic game.
Actually, we got some great games mentioned. I'm just scrolling down. I mean, someone wanted a remake of R-Type, and that was Ace Tones, who's constantly confusing me because he's got the Cranky Gamers logo as his thing, and I keep thinking it's Toz, and it's not. I've
changed my avatar, so...
Yes, I've noticed that. A great one... Oh, I'm going to so screw this name up. Indoshia... You know who you are. You wanted Shinobi, which I can't argue with that. My mic wants Flashback.
Cool, good game.
I think Solid Snake Cube needs to be taken outside and have a little chat done with him. He wants E.T.
Well,
the worst game ever.
Supposedly.
Someone take Solid Snake Cube outside and have a little chat with him. That's just wrong. And I'm quite glad to see that Mr. Gav also had a great recommendation, and I have to agree with this one. How about Cannon Fodder Toss?
Do you know what? I've actually got that on one of the mini TV games, and I played that to death when it originally came out and finished it. And for its day and its time, it was really, it was a good top game.
Oh yeah.
It would be a good, actually. Do you know what? It would make a cracking Xbox Live Arcade title. Definitely.
Yeah, I tell you what, Sundancer mentioned one, and I sat there and went, you know what? I'm surprised no one else thought of that one. Escape from Monkey Island.
Yeah, I think I've heard rumblings that something's actually being done about it. That something is happening on the LucasArts front as regards the games and stuff. Yeah.
That'd be nice. Spy 101. Oh, you've mentioned some good ones here. I'm not sure about Elite, but the two after that, the Strike series, Desert Strike, Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, Soviet Strike, Nuclear Strike, loved those games, absolutely loved them.
I think you could say Elite, you could point him towards the MMORPG, couldn't you?
I've never played Elite, so I don't know.
It's a space adventure, the name escapes me, the biggest space adventure online, MMOR. Eve,
Online,
that's it.
I think.
That's it, yeah. I think, quite simply, what I've seen of Eve, I might be way off the mark here, but I would say Eve's a pretty, on the way to being elite-ish.
The other one you mentioned, I have to say, oh yes. I remember I loved playing this game on the PlayStation 1, G-Police.
Yeah, I come up with one last week, didn't I? I said the one I used to play a lot, which I thought would be Boulder Dash. Do you remember Boulder Dash?
Boulder Dash.
That was awesome.
Coyote Club wants Dizzy. And also goes on to say, excellent game. Yes, you should be ashamed, Coyote
Funny.
Club.
Yeah, definitely.
How about this one from Swept? Alexi Kid.
Yeah, one of the very first original games way back.
And, oh good grief, I'm not even... Let me post this one over to Toz and see if he can pronounce this guy's name, because I butchered one name already.
Go, don't give it me. Smolios 74.
How about the Chaos Engine? I remember playing this one.
Very good game. That was a big game in its day, that was.
It's
very big game.
And there's just... actually, someone wanted the original Ghostbusters to be remade, and if that's the one I'm thinking about, wasn't that more a management game than busting ghosts?
There was one good... I tell you, there's one good Ghostbusters game that I used to play back in the day on the Commodore 64. Or might have been the Atari, one of them two. That was big in its day. Where you actually trap the ghost with the trap on the floor.
I may have even played that.
It was good, I can remember.
Now there's one guy I've got to pick a bone with, and it's not because of the Oldham Athletic Football Club badges as avatar, no, it's fine with me. Benjo321, Pang. The amount of times I played this at my local swimming bath, because it was in the arcade there.
Do you know what?
Oh,
aren't you amazed that PopCap haven't picked up on that one and got that on there?
Very surprised. Pang, man. The amount of money I spent on that game.
That is made for PopCap and Xbox Live Arcade, without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, God, yeah. And all in all, the whole thing went to 3 pages. Some great games mentioned in there. Cannon Fodder, Chaos Engine, most of the Bitmap Brothers' work, actually. So, some great suggestions there, so... Absolutely. It's like, you're sitting there going, oh man, I need to break out some old consoles and play some of these games.
Yeah. Some good games. Good topic.
Alright then. Have you got a question for this week, Toz?
I'm just pulling off the top of my head a bit of a little one to say, which is a bit of a short show, or supposedly a bit of a rush show. But I was going to mention all the feedback we got from my HD DVD drive and the stuff. I'm just going to pose a little question, just for my curiosity more than anything, I suppose, is, as the drop in HD DVD drives made you think about actually buying one, or you think it's completely dead and it's done?
Yes.
So just that little bit of a question. Well, no, for all you guys, actually, if you've not listened to the Achievement Junkies podcast this week, I highly recommend it, because they do really have a go at me. Well, not have a go. To be quite honest, it's quite a good little comeback where I mentioned the HD DVD drive, and Natalie and Nelson have a really good chat, and it's really, really good. So, yeah, really, really good. I recommend going to it, and that's why I've asked the question. I'm interested.
I'd buy one if they're cheaper, and if the discs drop down to pretty cheap, yeah, I'll buy them.
Well,
don't care if you're not going to do any new ones. You're going to have some, at least, if not.
They've gone down to $39.99 now in the UK.
For the drive?
Yep, I think it's either next Friday or last Friday, or very soon anyway. I haven't got the date or spot on, but they are going down to $39.95. Now, I'll have this argument with anybody. £40 gets you a HD system. Now, for anybody who can't afford HD, and we all know it's expensive, there is a chance to actually get your HD drive for £40 now. And there's absolutely hundreds of back catalogue titles, and quite simply, they're only going to get cheaper. So I still think it's a viable product.
I mean, yeah, just to get a HD system, that price is not bad, because it isn't cheap. Oh, and I have to correct myself over something. I was wrong. The PS3 is actually the cheapest Blu-ray player, and I said it wasn't. I was mistaken. That was a while
But
back.
they are. I will back you up, though, that the standalone ones are coming down at an alarming rate.
Oh, they are now, because there's one format, which you have to admit, one format is a hell of a lot better than two competing formats. Betamax, anybody?
Yeah.
But oh well. Alright then, we'll move on to shout-outs this week. So, Toz, do you have any shout-outs?
Not really. Just Acey Bongos, really, for giving us the interview mentioned before. I think thank him for that. As I say, it's a real bit of a good interview, and I really thank him for it. And like you say, he's welcome back anytime.
Yep.
And just everybody for all the messages and stuff and things. We appreciate it. It's great. And all the stuff, PM messages and everything. Just appreciate everything, guys.
Alright then, I just want to give a shout out to Chris Jones. I did the interview with Chris Jones on Wednesday night. That will be appearing on next week's show. Yeah, the next week's Cranky Gamers.
Next Saturday. Could put it out next week, similar to this, I think.
Yeah, it'll be similar job to this one. And he's
The
the
reason-
guy who was the guy in charge of the Ultimate Universe mod. So there'll be a lot of PC and modding questions in there for all you PC gamers out there. So you'll enjoy that one. So I'll give him a shout out for that. Despite the great thing of, about 2 minutes before starting the interview, my toilet decided to break.
Very interesting.
It just goes to prove that I swear Sod and his law seem to be around me constantly. Alright then folks, you should know it by now. You can find the site at crankygamersuk.com, and if you would like to email the show, you can email us at crankygamers@crankygamersuk.com, or if you want to email Toz and the Cranky Ranking team, you can email them at
feedback@crankygamersuk.com.
Hey, and if you've got some time, why not join the Cranky Gamers forums? And if you've got a couple of free minutes, why not leave an iTunes review? And if you've got a bit of spare cash, why not help us out? Because we'd like to start doing some new stuff, so why not donate to us? Because we would like to start doing some video reviews. But first off, we need to buy a capture card so we can actually have game footage up there, so why not help us out?
Yep. Help us make, guys. We're going to hopefully make some changes on the adverts on the front page. We're looking into it.
Definitely. Alright, he, as ever, has been the cranky one. We have Jose Marino, the special one, and now we have the cranky one in Toz.
Yeah, enjoyed it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's show with the interview. So see you next week sometime. Cheers.
Well, he'll see you on Cranky Ranking. I will see you next week. And of course, I have been Kid Dog. And as ever, until next week, stay cranky.